David Ornstein. David, let's start with the big news. It sounds like, well, it is confirmed Marcus Rashford is leaving the only team he's ever played for, heading over to Aston Villa on a loan. What can you tell us?
He's not just leaving, he has left, Anna. And that's quite remarkable for somebody we've become known as Manchester United through and through. And Marcus Rashford, it's a pretty extraordinary story, his fall from grace, because he was one of the top players for club and country. But it's been clear that he's not part of Ruben Amorim's plans ever since he was dropped for the Manchester derby. United have been keen to move him on. He even said in an interview that he would be open to leaving and finding a fresh challenge. So it has proven. His representatives explored all manner of options, AC Milan, Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona. That was his preference, Barcelona, but there was also Premier League interest. Something had to give. The teams on the continent could not afford his salary. And so in the end, Aston Villa stepped forward. What they have structured is a deal on loan until the end of the season, with an option to buy at £40 million. They will pay a great deal of his salary. We think 75% of a salary that's worth in excess of £325,000 a week. With bonuses based on performance and appearances, that could go up to 90%. So Manchester United will be pleased with that deal. And I don't think there's a great expectation at Old Trafford that he will play for Manchester United again. It does feel like the end of an era. Unai Emery, the Villa manager, wants Marcus Rashford to be the centre of his plans for Villa. He thinks he's one of the top players in the world, that he can bring him back to his best level. And he was driving this personally. The Villa hierarchy supported him and they've managed to get the deal done. Medical was completed. He's taken the number 9 shirt and he will start to try and rebuild his career, which has taken a turn for the worse. He wants to get back into the England plans under Thomas Tuchel. He is just 27 years old. His contract at Manchester United runs until 2028. But I think they would all like to see this to be a success that will lead to him continuing at Villa. So Marcus Rashford is no longer a Manchester United player.
Yeah, hopefully it's a positive future for Rashford. How about who's coming in? That's who's coming out. But what can you tell us about who could be joining at Manchester United?
So Manchester United have been quick to point out they've made 3 acquisitions that they're pleased with, most notably Patrick Dorgu, and then 2 others who are more on the younger scale, Aidan Heaven from Arsenal and another young player called Diego Leon. In terms of Dorgu, he's left fullback. He plays at wing back. He can play on the right-hand side as well. And they feel it was a good value deal at Manchester United, around £30 million. He's just 20 years old from Lecce in Italy. And he's also an international player already, but clearly still quite raw. Manchester United are pleased with it, but many of their fans are feeling it's perhaps not the most spectacular window. And when you look at players they have been heavily linked with, there's Mathys Tel from Bayern Munich, and we'll come on to speak about him at greater length, who Manchester United had expressed an interest in taking on loan as an attacking option, especially post-Rashford, and it hasn't happened. They were heavily linked with Christopher Nkunku. I can reveal that they made an inquiry to take him on loan from Chelsea just yesterday. That was rebuffed by Chelsea, and the player wouldn't be interested in a loan either. They'd previously looked into a permanent deal, but it was too expensive. They even explored taking the right winger from Aston Villa, the Jamaica international, and that didn't materialise. So there were lots of avenues that Manchester United went down to try and improve their squad, but it didn't materialise, and they're okay with that. They believe that they're keeping their powder dry. They didn't want to make any more expensive mistakes like you could say the club might have made in the past, and that they want to invest in the summer and back Ruben Amorim in the next transfer window. So yeah, they would have liked to have done more, but on this occasion it wasn't possible.
Well, David, you mentioned his name just a moment ago, one of those players that United did fail to acquire. That's Mathys Tel. It sounds like he's heading to Tottenham Hotspur. What can you tell us about that news? Yeah,
that's the curveball here, Anna. So with Manchester United expressing an interest in taking him on loan, a number of other clubs in the frame too. Arsenal had looked into it. Would he stay at Bayern Munich? He's been one of the most talked about players, Mathys Tel, 19-year-old France youth international. throughout this window with uncertainty. Tottenham had stepped forward to try and do it on a permanent basis at around 60 million euros last week, but he ultimately rejected them. And it looked like that was maybe a case closed for Tottenham. He told Tottenham, as I understand it, that he wanted to stay at Bayern Munich, that he loves it there and he didn't see his future being elsewhere, that he wanted to sort of make a decision in the summer. Well, all of a sudden today, pictures emerged of his agent on a private jet. That private jet included Mathys Tel, and we then learned that he had landed in London and he was indeed intending to sign for Tottenham. We don't know the exact terms, possibly now just a loan deal, but it hasn't been finalised, the structure. And Tottenham may, at the last moment, have reinforced their attack just when it looked like it would be maybe a disappointing end. So in the next hours, we should be getting details on exactly whether that deal is done and exactly how it has been done. I hear that Daniel Levy, the chairman and co-owner, Johan Langer, the technical director, Ange Postecoglou, the manager, played an important role in swinging this back in Tottenham's direction to try and get Tel on board. It's not quite there yet, but it seems that it could well be done before the deadline with him here on the ground in the UK. And that would be very interesting. He's not played much at Bayern Munich, but he is a talent. And if he's going to be playing in the Premier League, then we're going to have some exciting times ahead.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.